excited because, they had a tough time in Karnataka, the local tax authority. So when they came to us and when they saw how well Jayesh and the entire team responded, they agreed and they set up their first fulfillment center, the largest fulfillment center in India back in 2015 in Hyderabad. That was the beginning of the relationship. Then they were scouting for again a location for their own office. And we went to Seattle all the way. And we had a series of meetings, Seattle and then also in Davos and elsewhere. And then came your largest Amazon office in the world. A 3 million square foot office that you see in Gachibowli, where, because they gained confidence. Because they gained confidence in this government, in this state, that these guys actually work as partners and don't necessarily look at us as investors. So then came the largest office. And when it came to their data center, Amazon Web Services today is one of the largest, they contribute, in fact, a significant chunk of revenue to Amazon. So when they were deliberating where to put up their large data centers, once again we met in Davos and we had this discussion. And eventually, it took a bit of time, but eventually about 6-7 months of negotiations and a lot of other things with respect to incentives such as power tariffs, etc., eventually the deal was clinched. So, sales and investment is really about relationship building. It does not happen overnight. You really have to build a relation, you really have to work on it, series of meetings, a lot of wining and dining and, ensuring that they're taken care of properly and ensuring that there are relationship managers literally, to take care of their every need. This is how government of Telangana has worked in the last 6 years. We went out on a limb. We call ourselves a startup state. In fact, I keep telling a lot of my friends that since we are sitting in this HICC forum and since there are a lot of youngsters from the IT industry, I would say independent India's most successful startup is the state of Telangana, without a question. I think in the short span of 6 years, this state has really stabilized, the state has really outdone itself, and the state has really delivered on a number of counts. So that's what I keep telling my friends also, that we operate with the bent of mind of a startup. And the hunger, the passion that you see in not only me, but my colleague ministers, my colleague MLAs, when it comes to protecting the interests of Telangana, is primarily because of one reason. We fought hard for this state. We have a point to prove, not only to ourselves, but also to the people, the naysayers, who said we could not succeed. So therefore, whenever we do, whatever we do it in full, no half measures when it comes to promoting Telangana, when it comes to protecting Telangana's interests. And that's what has, I think, contributed to the success of this state.
So whenever I talk to you, I always just feel that passion in you, right? Because, even the last conversation I've had with you in your office after the new executive committee members of HICC took over, the very first thing that you mentioned about is, Barney, we want to just kind of, do something for the student community. We want to create cyber warriors, right? I mean, I can definitely relate to your passion every time I talk to you. You come up with some brilliant ideas, and that again just not stays as ideas, but you ensure that that happens. So I can certainly relate to what you said.
ఇది ఒకటి తెలుగులో చెప్పాలి. తెలుగులో చెప్పొచ్చా ప్లీజ్? అంటే మనందరి షెల్ఫ్ లైఫ్ చాలా లిమిటెడ్. ఇప్పుడు నేను ప్రస్తుతం మినిస్టర్గా ఉన్నాను. Everybody's shelf life is very limited. As a politician, you're the current president of ICI. I'm sure your shelf life is also limited. There's somebody who's going to follow suit next. మన షెల్ఫ్ లైఫ్ లిమిటెడ్ అని తెలిసినప్పుడు, ఇప్పుడు నేను మినిస్టర్గా ఓ 4 కొబ్బరికాయలు కొట్టానా, ఓ 2 రిబ్బన్లు కట్ చేశాను అనుకుంటే వేస్ట్. అలా నాలా వస్తారు, నా తర్వాత వస్తారు, నాకంటే ముందు కూడా ఉంటారు. కానీ అల్టిమేట్గా నేను ఇక్కడ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏం చేశాను, ఏమైనా చేయగలిగానా లేదా? యూ గో బ్యాక్ హోమ్ విత్ ద ఇన్నర్ సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్. అండ్ అన్లెస్ యూ డూ థింగ్స్ విత్ ప్యాషన్, you will not be able to deliver. నేను ప్యాషన్ లేకుండా ఏదో మామూలుగా కూర్చుంటాను, వచ్చానంటే వచ్చాను, పోయానంటే కుదరదు. So that's exactly what I believe in, and therefore you see that in me.
Yeah, and I don't know how else we can articulate so well about passion and what drives with passion. So let me move on to the other sectors, sir, because we've been always talking about IT and pharma. I mean, that's what comes in the news most of the time, right? I know that we have seen a significant improvement and growth. Again, the economic growth happening in IT and pharma industry. So I know that there
pharma is the entire life sciences,
entire life sciences, including biotechnology and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for correcting me. And so now, is the government targeting any other sectors? I know we've been hearing a lot, but I just wanted to hear from you, targeting many other sectors wherein we want to just kind of look at major investments coming in the next couple of years, right? And very importantly, just not seeking the investment, but what kind of government policy changes that you are actually doing and even anticipating to do to be able to attract these investments on a sustainable manner.
Bernie, one of the things I'm excited about for the next decade really is, I mean, besides the two usual suspects, IT and life sciences, where Telangana continues to remain a leader, I'm excited about electronics and electric vehicles. In fact, I'm very, very upbeat that Telangana could truly be the electric vehicle hub for the entire country, because I see that as a way forward. ఎందుకంటే నాకు ఒక ఫ్రెండ్ ఈ మధ్యన ఒక మంచి మాట చెప్పారు. He said the 3 Ds that are going to dominate our country in the next few decades is digitize, decarbonize, and decentralize. These 3 Ds. ఈ మూడు కనుక మనం కరెక్ట్గా టార్గెట్ చేయగలిగితే, so if you talk about decarbonize, you have so much opportunity in clean tech. Clean tech lo niku electric vehicles undi, electronics undi, there are so many other facets that can be targeted, because the world is now, after corona and this pandemic, everybody is conscious of health. So therefore, health patla inta conscious periginappudu pollution taggali, లేదా cities clean ga undali, air quality better ga undali annappudu electric vehicles are the way forward, and I do believe Hyderabad has in it to be able to attract a lot of this particular segment. We already have 3 large investors who have already signed with us. One is a company called Electra, another one is a company called Mitra. ఇంకా చాలా 2-wheelers 3-wheelers వాళ్ళు కూడా మన EV పాలసీ లాంచ్ చేసినప్పుడు దాదాపు మొదటి రోజే more than 3,000+ crores of investment మనం సైన్ చేయగలిగాం. Now that has to be operationalized. That's one segment I'm very excited about. Second segment I'm very excited also about is food processing. Food processing lo Telangana is now more than surplus. So therefore I believe now Telangana can cater to the needs of other states. We can actually start talking of how to process, how to ensure that this processed food again is something that can be done at a global standard and be exported to outside of India as well. Chala potential undi, and I do believe, in fact, not only in Hyderabad but also in areas outside, even in the districts, food processing sector will really prosper. My Honorable Chief Minister, in fact, has come out with an idea called as special food processing zones, like how we have SEZs for IT. Similarly, a special food processing zone in many districts are being planned now, and I am very upbeat that this will attract large investments in food processing. The other sectors, again, I am looking at with great deal of enthusiasm. Textiles is another sector. Today, if you look at Indian textile scenario, we only contribute 4% to the world textiles. Bangladesh contributes 8% to the world textiles and garments. So therefore, again, the opportunity is huge. Today we have in Warangal, India's largest textile park. We already have, again, some marquee names that have come in. A company called Youngwon from Korea has signed up to invest about 1,000 crores there, and they are going to set up 8 factories, providing 12,000 employment to 12,000 people. Now, this is another sector which I believe, because it's never going to go out of fashion. People are going to continue to wear clothes, hopefully, and ensure that new trends and new fashions, we don't know, man. I mean, things change. But I hope it will continue that way. So, therefore, again, another sector I'm upbeat about is textiles. And again, another very important sector is logistics. ఎందుకంటే Hyderabad, being bang in the middle of the country, has a unique value proposition to offer to the rest of the country. As manufacturing activity picks up, you need logistic basis. And Hyderabad offers that unique position. So, logistics, electronics, food processing, textiles, besides life sciences and IT, I think these are the sectors I would look forward to in the next decade or so.
Another sector, sir, I'm sure it's very close to you as well, is the aerospace defense. Right. So, I have a background in the aerospace engineering from my US life, and we used to bring some very qualified manufacturing engineers, right, to the Sikorsky, Tata Aerospace, Tata Tasso facility, because the kind of experienced manpower was lacking here, so we just had to bring them and train our folks here. When we looked at this Adi Batla about just a decade ago, and now the transformation that has taken place with Lockheed Martins of the world, Boeing of the world, UTCs of the world, I think it's going through a huge transformation. And I know again Bangalore is claiming to be the aerospace hub now. but I'm sure you already have a vision towards, making Hyderabad, right, Adibatla, as the aerospace hub. So you want to just say something about that?
Well, for those of you who don't know, I think Hyderabad is the place where the United States President's helicopter cabin is also manufactured. Sikorsky manufactures helicopter cabins here.
Yes, 92. Yes, 92 helicopter cabins.
Since you're the aerospace guy, you know all about it. I don't know who the current President of the United States is, though. Do you know it? I don't know. President Trump, President Biden, I don't know. But his helicopter is manufactured here. So that goes to show you again that this city really has in it. I thought you were not asking me about the current strength, so I didn't mention aerospace and defense. But India's largest private missile manufacturing facility, private factory, in fact, in the private sector, is also established here. It's Kalyani Rafale. It's also in Hyderabad. And of course, we have a large defense ecosystem. More than 10 PSUs in defense sector who are already headquartered here, since the last few decades, which has spawned out large ecosystem of small and medium enterprises in defense and aerospace industries. So I see again more than 1,000 small and medium companies who are in this space. In fact, I don't know if that gentleman is here, but there's a guy called Chandrasekhar, who runs a company called Azad Engineering. Again, he's bagged a massive order recently, from one of the large multinationals, and he's looking to grow his business. I'm talking a few $100 million. So these are the kind of small and medium players I'm excited about. Because the large names will come in anyway, the Tassels, the Boeings, the Sikorskys. But what really goes into building a city's or a state's ecosystem is the small and medium players. As long as they're there, as long as they continue to get these orders, the city will continue to grow. I'm excited about the fact that there is an inherent